welcome to the first episode of a new series called Road to Icon. And I am LSFM, a new channel on the FM scene, I guess. I mean, it's just going to be a hobby, really. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting save idea. So we're going to start with Spurs. Arguably, probably the weakest team in the top six in England, really, if you think about it. They've never really been able to cement their status as one of the elite teams in the world. I mean, it's kind of a cliche, lack of trophies really does speak for itself. And obviously, the aim for that, at least the first part of this series, will be to make Spurs great again. Well, if they ever were great in the first place. So yeah, and basically the whole idea is to get our manager, which is Hugh Jass here. Yeah, he's a very cool dude, to be the top of this Hall of Fame list. So we want to be better than Ferguson, Guardiola, Ancelotti, all those. We want to be better than all of them. But the key thing here is to have a diverse range of honours. So we don't want to be staying in England for the entire series. That'd be boring. So, once we've done all we can with Spurs, once our stock is high, we move on to, like a Barcelona or Real Madrid or something if we do well. And if not, we get sacked by Spurs. We might have to drop down a bit and work our way back up again. It's an interesting save, and it's got a lot of room for you know flexibility. In terms of money, we have 26 million, so I'd probably sign one player for this squad, or maybe more if I sold. I need to look at the squad properly, but it's not a bad squad at all, not by any means. I mean, sort by ability here. Obviously, Harry Kane, key player for Spurs, as he has been for many years now. Um, the thing I find about Kane is that he's not really like an advanced forward, so to speak. He's not like the Haalands, Martinez, Salah's. If you play Salah as striker, he's not that fast. So I'm thinking of probably playing him more as a deep line forward and using players like Heung-min Son with his explosive pace to go in behind him. Um, that's the key, really. And we've got Kulusevski as well, who's actually going to be joining Spurs now. So yeah, he will probably be a key player this year if he can stay fit. Team is quite weak, especially in like defensive department. I don't want to be relying on players like fucking Japhet Tanganga or Doherty or Emerson Royale, who's just not a footballer. I mean, in this game he's not that bad, but he's one of those wing backs who's kind of like jack of all trades, master of none. I mean, you can go for a long time. He's got stamina and work rate, but other than that, I mean, obviously would want to be looking for an upgrade. Um, so yeah, in the league this season, we predicted to finish fifth. So actually not the weakest team out of the top six, but I found that this year I have another save with Chelsea and Arsenal are quite good this year, as they have been in real life. I'll begrudgingly say, despite being a Chelsea fan myself, Arsenal have been very good this season. So I suppose the aim for this year is, I would say Europa League, but we want to get Champions League really with this team thing. I mean, we got Lloris, but he's 35 now. He's getting on a little bit. He's prone to the odd mistake, I find. So you're probably for this season, he'll probably be our goalkeeper, but in future we may need to look for a replacement. Not quite sure who the replacement would be at this point. I mean, we've got Longley, but he's only like a solution for this season. I don't think I'd sign him permanently. Spurs don't even have the option to, so probably would sign him permanently. We've got Christian Romero. He's got some potential about him. He's a decent player. Also in the wings we've got Richarlison, who yeah, he's all right. But I don't think I want to be relying on him for the season. I'd rather it be Kane, Son, Kulusevski up front. But yeah, I mean, the good thing about their transfer window that they've just had is that they signed a few players we can build around for the future. So we've got Kulusevski, only 22 years old. He's got a bit of room to grow still, looking at that potential. We got Basuma. I really rate Basuma in real life. He's a very good player in this year's game. Um, yeah, yeah. So, Højbjerg's only 26. He's got a few years left in him. But I mean, I think the time is now for Spurs. We've got Kane and Son, they're quite close to the 30s now, really. So, if the time for Spurs to do well is now, is yeah, it's now basically. These are players we have to build around, really. Maybe not the Reece, but Kane and Son. We we have to keep him in the squad, and we have to build around him really. I mean, I don't want to be completely unrealistic for signings. I'm not going to go and sign Jude Bellingham straight away because why would he join Spurs? But I think the idea first of all is to just improve this defense because I don't really rate it that much. I mean, I don't want to be relying on Doherty. I don't know why they signed him from Wolves in the first place. He's like what he's not very good at anything. He's just kind of average, and I don't think he's that good. So we definitely have to be making some changes there. But it will be an interesting challenge for sure. Just thought that while we're here, we might as well talk about the supporter profile at the Spurs, one of the new features this year. So you can see that most of the fans are core, 36%, which is essentially just like the average fan, a few hardcore. And we've got 22% fair weather, which means, people who want success now, which is quite surprising for Spurs because the fans don't really know much about success, let's say. Well, we're here to change that. They want us to qualify for the Champions League, which is different from the board expectations. So, it's probably a good thing that their influence on the board is quite low. Be competitive against Chelsea, but shows how much better Chelsea are really. Finish above Arsenal, which is required. I'm not sure if that will be possible this season, but we can see. And by contrast, the board only want us to qualify for Europa League, reach the latter stages of the FA Cup, latter stages of the Champions League. Not sure about that. I mean, it'll probably be quite hard to get sacked for this team, to be honest. So, you know, it should be a straightforward first season, but they want us to win the Champions League by 2025 and win the Premier League by 2026. Win the Champions League in 3 years. That is a tall order for Spurs, though. I have to say. Daniel Levy's quite ambitious, it seems. So this right here is probably the tactic we're going to be using for most of the season. You easy 4-2-3-1. I mean, I've used this in another save this year that I have with Chelsea, personal save, and yeah, it's working fine. Is that the same kind of system? Obviously, problem positions I have right back and centre attacking mid. Now, I mean, Kulusevski can play here, so if I find like a really good winger, I could put Kulusevski here and find a winger. So yeah, this is going to be used mostly in games we're expected to win. You've got to make full use of the quality we have in his team. Yeah, I'm going to play Kane as a deep line forward initially. Have Son like attacking. Inside forward does this. They go beyond the striker and score. So Son will probably be the main goal scoring threat in his team. But I mean, if Kane doesn't perform as a deep line forward, I could just do this and it'd be fine. But we're going to try this for now, especially in games we're going to dominate possession because that's the whole point of deep line forward. Using games when you're going to dominate the ball, using them as like a anchor, whatever, to create chances. And against teams we might struggle against, this is the system. So Bentancur can easily slot in here. Rodrigo Bentancur down here. Yeah, he can easily slot in there. So can Basuma and Højbjerg. So it's quite a good midfield, really, at Spurs. Again, right back up Mario Kane this time, a complete forward. So we're looking to use him even more as like a player to play around, I guess, and use him to create chances in a game, like say against City away, where chances are harder to come by. So it's a mid block this time. We're going to be a lot more defensively secure. And finally, this system, which is completely different to the other ones, but I feel like it's probably suits Spurs a bit better. But I feel like we don't have very many good centre backs, so it's probably best if we just stick with a four at the back for now. But we could easily switch to this if we wanted to. Very similar. Kulusevski can slot in here very easily. Kane and Son up front. I mean, this could be the future. I think for now it's probably best if we stick with this, just because it suits the back four a bit more. Because I mean, I don't really like Davinson Sanchez. I don't think he's that good. Von Guy, the same kind of thing. So I think Dyer and Romero will probably be our centre back partnership this season. Um, got Perisic as well. He's a very good player. But he probably better suits playing in the upper system with the wing backs. So I'm not sure if he'll play that much. But I mean, if needs be, I'll switch to it if we want to use our best players in the best positions. But we can try this for now. 'Cause I feel like this system would just be better at dominating games. And yeah, so that's the tactical breakdown. And I'll get back to you on the first game of the season. Hopefully, we'd have done some transfers by then. So, welcome back. Yeah, I've simulated towards the start of the season. We're now at our first game, home to Everton. Hopefully, a game that this team can win. And you may notice some new faces in the starting 11. So let's start with the right back. Giovanni Di Lorenzo has joined Spurs for, I think it was about £29 million. Yeah, so we need a new right back because Doherty and Royale just ain't it. So I've gone for Di Lorenzo, and he's a decent player. Solid defensively, okay going forward as well. He's decently fast, and if you just compare him to Royale, who will be the understudy this season, he'll be second choice right back because I have to keep one of them. More one Doherty in a second if we just look at check. Yeah, you can see that Di Lorenzo just a cut above. Really. And the second player we signed is Marco Asensio. Yes, contract was expiring at Real Madrid, so we could snap him up for a relatively cheap fee, just £25 million. He's a very good player. He's going to play on that right hand side. So I've moved Kulusevski into the middle. The good thing about Asensio is look at these attributes like long shots, first touch, passing technique. It's just all there, and he's going to be taking all our set pieces this season because we've got 15 free kicks, 15 corners. So he's probably going to get very high rated because anyone who takes a set piece in this game will automatically gets a high rating just because of how the game calculates key passes. So yeah, I think he's going to be a great player for us. Matt Doherty is on the transfer list. I'm trying to get rid of him. His wage is quite high and he's just not very good. But so far, I've not been able to sell. No one's really interested in him, unsurprisingly. Another player that was sold was, let's see, it was Lucas Moura, 11.25 million. I mean, I don't really like him in real life. I feel like he's kind of average. He's living on that goal he scored against Ajax in the last minute in Champions League semi-final, I think it was. I just don't think he's that good. He doesn't really fit the system. He doesn't. I don't. I wouldn't. I'm not playing wingers at the front. He's a bit too short and weak, and I don't really like that. His contract was expiring anyway. He was on quite a lot of money, so I just let him go. 11.25 million. Decent servant for Spurs over the years, but not a player I really wanted to keep around. Slightly less attacking depth now, but got Richarlison as an understudy for Kane. Sessegnon can play here. Perisic can play there. Another thing about Perisic, I wasn't going to have him in the starting 11, but he can actually play left back competently. Yeah, so he'll be training there this season. He's very well rounded. He can play left, but sure. And if we need a more defensive option, we've got Ben Davies on the bench, who's just better defensively. But in this game against Everton, we can afford to go forward and attack. So Perisic can play in this game. I'm going to use him. He's one of the best players here, so I'm going to be using him. I brought in some new staff members, so I got a new assistant manager. This is him, in case you cared. Ed Vahid, ex-Southampton head of youth development. Never heard of him before today. Signed him up because, I don't know, I like to change the assistant manager when I join a club because usually the one who's there is the one for the previous manager. So we still had Conte's one here, so I just wanted my own one. I removed a few fitness coaches because, I mean, there was one of them with like 8 fitness. What's the point of being a fitness coach if you only have 8 fitness? Signed a few new coaches. Brought in Teddy Sheringham for the under 18s. Let's just find him quickly. Yeah, Spurs. I don't know if about legend, but he used to play for Spurs, so here he is, Teddy Sheringham. Now we have our first game against Frank Lampard, Everton. Um, so yeah, I feel like we should probably win this game quite easily, but we know it's Football Manager. I think they're not that good, to be honest, but it's Football Manager. As I said, they could spring a surprise on us. So first game of the series at home to Everton. Let's hope it's a good one. In goal, we got Lloris for the game. Back four, Ivan Perisic, Christian Romero, Eric Dyer, and new signing Di Lorenzo. Højbjerg, Basuma in the midfield, Son on the left, Asensio on the right, Kulusevski as the advanced playmaker today, and Harry Kane leading the line as a deep line forward. So, let's go Spurs. So yes, here we go. First game of the series against Everton at home. I mean, they probably have most of their players available for this game, but we should be winning, as I'm going to tell the players, because I mean, I know Spurs are Spurs and usually mess it up against shit teams, but come on, it's Everton, lads. So we're going to mark Neil Mopay. I think Anthony Gordon comes inside. So what I do with the opposition instructions. So I always mark the striker, and if I have a winger, if one of them cuts inside, i.e., their stronger foot is opposite to the side they play on, I usually press them. But this isn't the case here, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to press Mope instead. And I also always mark the centre mid that's more likely to go forward, so that'd be Onana in this situation. So we always want to mark the runner coming from midfield because they seem to score a lot of goals in this game. And I always hard tackle players who are quite weak and also ones who aren't very agile, good at dribbling. So Mope fits that bill. He's not that strong. Well, that's decent, but it's not the best. Dribbling's only 11, which is the key reason why I am putting hard tackling on him. So anyway, team talk done. Uh, opposition instructions set. Now we can go. First highlight of the game here. Everton have the ball. We win it back. Højbjerg now. Kulusevski, Asensio. Interesting header. Don't know what the fuck he was doing there. Oh, he's won it back though. Come on, mate. Di Lorenzo, new signing. Come on, let's do a football. It's a good spell of possession here. It's exactly the kind of football we want to be playing. Asensio's in here, and he's skied it. Well done, mate. Great. Great start. Well, we are dominating in the first few minutes. Dyer, come on. Apparently, I don't know how that didn't go in, but here we are. It's still 0-0. I mean, it's a positive start, really. I mean, all the pre-season games, I forgot to show them to you, but we won every single one. We even beat Barcelona 3-0. So, yeah, great start. Asensio here. Can he square it across? Kulusevski! Dejan Kulusevski scores his first goal of the season and the first goal of the series. Wow, Asensio linking up with him there. Oh, this front four is going to be so good this season, I bet. It's going to be so good. So, yeah, first goal already. Oh, yes. Pickford launched it forward, but that can only find Romero. Here's Kane. Kane scores. That should count. That should count. He looked onside to me. That should be a goal. Go on, referee. Graham Scott, please. Oh, right. Watch him be quite far offside now. I just didn't see. No, he's not that far offside. Oh well. One thing I'm worried about this season is Kane not scoring that many goals because I just never seem to think that he's that good on this game. He never gets the numbers that he usually gets in real life. But you never know. You never know. Here's Kulusevski. Lovely ball forward to Son. Can he finish it here? What a goal! Heung-min Son, exactly what I was expecting from him this season. Going in beyond Kane and scoring the goal. It was a great ball forward by Kulusevski. It was going to be such a creative force this season, I reckon. Lovely ball into space, behind the defence. Son, relatively easy finish, puts it past Pickford. 2-0 to Spurs already. And look at that dominance. They haven't even had a shot yet. Oh, Romero thinks it's the post, and then he gets it straight back and scores on the free kick. Wow, what a start this is. What a fucking start. Oh, this is quite something, I'd say. Oh, yes. 3-0, and it's not even been half an hour. They haven't even had a shot. Ruiz comes quite far forward. Oh dear, that was interesting. This is exactly the kind of game where Everton will score their first shot on target. And as I said earlier, I think Ruiz is quite prone to the occasional error. So that could be something that might hinder us this season, which is why I decided to sign a more defensive fullback. Oh, Nathan Patterson's been sent off. Wow. Have had the most horrid first half ever. Asensio free kick. He's got 15 free kick. Can he score this one? Oh, yes, he can. Asensio, what a great first goal for the club. Oh, it didn't take him long. I told you before the game he's going to be a key player this season, and here he is. Great free kick. 4-0. 4-0. Half time, Tottenham 4, Everton 0. Everton with one of the worst first halves you'll ever see, with no shots at all. A man sent off. But I mean, what a first half that was. I have to tell them that doing brilliantly because that was brilliant. Free kick to Spurs. Oh my god, that almost snuck in there. I don't know what happened. Pickford somehow kept it out. Asensio, a free kick threat, it seems. Look how like dominant we've been. It's ridiculous. I don't think I've even had a game as this dominant like ever. Like this is ridiculous levels of dominance. It's like Everton just haven't gone forward at all. I can't imagine what it would be like coming down from Liverpool to London to see this game as an Everton fan, and if your team's just not turn up. and never even break out their own half. Like, that would be just awful to watch. But I mean, everyone's played well so far. Every single player on this team, I can't fault any of them. It's been just brilliant. Heritage, lovely ball to Son. I couldn't finish that time. Pickford, easy save. But we get in behind the defence again. It's just too easy for us, really. So I've just made a few changes. I took off Dye, who was yellow card, and put on Longley. Brian Hill can have a go, and Oliver Skip, who's going to be quite a well, he's going to be an interesting player this season because he's one of Spurs' top prospects, really. So it'd be an interesting player to keep an eye on. I mean, I've set up all the individual training for all the players, so hopefully you can develop and maybe take that spot from Højbjerg if he plays better than Højbjerg anyway. But yeah, the game's almost over. Yeah, very uneventful second half compared to the first, and it's 4-0 to Tottenham. That was a brilliant performance. I mean, maybe we would have liked a few more goals. The XG was higher. We had 34 shots, but if I was Frank Lampard, I'd be scratching my chin here because that was. I don't know what that was from Everton, but that was terrible. Effective game plan or Everton just being terrible. You can see Liverpool beat Crystal Palace 7-2, Salah scoring 4. I don't know either, alright. Liverpool beating Crystal Palace by that margin. Ugh. What a performance from the players that was. Absolutely brilliant. So I think I'm going to come back after the end of August for the Liverpool Arsenal double header. Liverpool and Arsenal, I mean, North London derby, away at the Emirates, big game. Liverpool are also a big game at home as well, so we may actually have a chance in that game. So those will be the games next. I'll make sure I show you these games here, the highlights of those, and when I return. But I mean, what a start! I mean, leave your thoughts down in the comments on the signings and the starts that we've made. I mean, this system could be it. I mean, still not sure about Kane. Was a bit quiet in that game, I think. But it was great. I mean, personally, I think these signings are quite decent. I mean, there's not really any room to sign anyone else right now. We have no transfer budget. Maybe a loan leave, but what a start. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've been LSFM. First ever video, really. So, yeah, if you've watched this, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Goodbye.